Hello, my name is Bill Edgett. Today is Tuesday, October 28th, 2025, and I'm trying to prepare for trial next week. Sorry. Okay. Now, right now I have these forms I gotta fill out. This is a request form for video conferencing appearance. So I've never filled out this before, and I was just provided this by Crown Prosecutor Scott Larson last week. I don't know why I wasn't provided with it sooner, because if you notice, April 17th, 2025, we had until April 14th to make submissions for the trial. I made my submissions in compliance with the deadline for the trial. But we didn't end up going forward with the trial. In part because I had not been provided this form and other evidence, such as this folder here. This is this disclosure list, just to give you an idea of how big it is. So Scott Larson, I think, sent me an email around April 16th saying that I hadn't been provided the full disclosure list, and he thought I should request a continuance because I hadn't been provided the list by Scott Larson and I hadn't filled out the form, which, me being a self-represented litigant and not having a lawyer represent me and not familiar with this form here, a request form for video conferencing appearance, I had no idea that all this needed to be done. So I was just provided this last week. So he's had this since April, Scott Larson, and I just got it in October. And we're going to trial on the 1st of November. So, again, I see a consistent abusive process by Scott Larson, Lindsay Genier, court services, Legal Aid Services Commission, the Attorney General's office, the Minister of the Department of Social Development, everyone involved in this. And I am trying to respond to an application made by the Minister of the Department of Social Development in December of 2023 for a year-long protection order. And here we are in October of 2025, still haven't had a trial. The last time the trial was held up was because of my doctor told me not to go to court until I had surgery to have an ICD device implanted in my body, so that I wouldn't just drop dead from my heart condition. So this device, what it does is it's a defibrillator, and what it does is if my heart stops, it shocks it, so I will live a little longer. So my doctor told me not to do anything that was stressful or would cause my blood pressure to be elevated until after I had the surgery. So I had the surgery in June, and she sent a letter to Judge Deborah Hackett stating the reasons why she didn't feel I was capable of being in court, representing myself in court. And the courts still have not contacted Dr. Mary Jarrett or Dr. Stevenson, my cardiologist, or Dr. Wong, the person who implanted the device, or Dr. Fatah Hansi, who I did the intake with to determine which device was best to have implanted in my body. None of those doctors were contacted to determine whether or not I am capable of returning to a courtroom situation and representing myself. Yet here I am, they're shoving me through. So I have many things I need to do. I have to do this video conference request. I have to summons to appear for our CMP officers. I should also have Nigel Bone in there as well. And I filed an appeal last week of a decision by Judge Delaquist to deny me having a lawyer assigned to represent me in compliance with the 2009 Supreme Court decision, GJ versus Province of New Brunswick from 1999. I believe it's SCC 26005, Supreme Court of Canada 26005. And the case was from here in New Brunswick. So he denied me the appointed legal representation. I wish to appeal that decision, and the clerk at the court office was reading from the file, which I don't know why. The clerk at the Fredericton office was reading from a private matter involving the Minister of the Department of Social Development, FDSJ 722-23. And I don't know why she told me that the Court of King's Bench told her that I had to go back. I couldn't file an appeal. This didn't meet the criteria, and I had to go back to the Court of King's Bench of St. John. So I had to speak to the registrar. And after speaking to the registrar did take my documents for the appeal. And I don't know where they are now, because that's how I am. Oh, sorry. Found it. Here's the envelope. So after speaking with the registrar about this, my appeal was taken. It was filed at the Court of Appeal in Fredericton. Now I have to serve a copy on Scott Larson and William Watts and provide affidavits of service, and then return these affidavits of service to Fredericton. And all while doing this, I still have to complete forms for disability, because I haven't worked since September of last year. I'm out in disability, and I had the documents here just a minute ago. So there's more documents I need to fill out. And I have difficulty keeping all this straight, because none of this is normal to me. And I'm struggling very hard. And I need help. And everyone I turn to help is actively trying to turn me away, to prevent me from sharing the evidence I've collected about this process over the past 10 years.